What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And today we're going to be giving you a bit of an update on what's going on with the Manchester United takeover. As I've said to you guys before, I try and not include this too much in our usual 1 hour shows because, to be honest with you, it gets a little bit tiresome. So I thought instead each week I'll do a kind of 10 to 15 minute roundup of what's going on with the takeover, give you guys the latest news, and of course, give my own opinion, and as well invite you to give your opinion. So let's jump straight on into this one. As always, please do smash a like on the video, please do subscribe to the channel, and please do get involved in the comments section. Let me know how you're feeling about everything. I look forward to seeing your comments. So let's start with the first bit of news that's come out. This is coming out from Laurie Whitwell, who of course writes for The Athletic, a journalist I really like, someone who I think is quite reliable, and he's saying the following: Joel and Avram would like to stay at Manchester United, while the other 4 Glazer siblings, Edward, Kevin, Brian and Darcy, all want to cash in on their shares. So, I mean, that came out as yesterday as breaking news, late last night. To me, that's kind of old news, if I'm completely honest. We all have known for the last, 2 or 3 weeks, months, that Joel and Avram want to stay and the other 4 siblings want to leave. So that came out and I thought, yeah, okay. Nothing to really get that excited or worried about, but I thought I'd bring it in anyway. And then we have another story coming out from Samuel Luckhurst, which goes as follows. It says, faced with the impatience of the fans, a well-placed financial source familiar with the Glazer family thinks they don't give a F. Ultimately saying that they don't care about the fans, which is pretty mental, isn't it? I mean, you can probably see it along the bottom in the text tracker. But ultimately, this story that's come out from Samuel Luckhurst is saying that ultimately the Glazers don't care what the fans think. They don't care if it's taken 8 months. They don't care if people are waiting and getting stressed over this. All they care about is themselves, and all they care about is money. Again, something definitely, as soon as I think of the Glazers, I think of that exact kind of point. So again, not the most surprising thing. Now, this one is quite interesting. This is also coming out from Samuel Luckhurst, and it says there is bemusement on the Wall Street on Wall Street that the strategic review of Manchester United has gone on for more than 8 months. And it actually goes on to say that most of these types of sales usually take between 60 and 90 days. So even people in Wall Street are confused about why this has taken so long. What's going on? There's this level of confusion with everybody. Nobody knows what the hell the Glazer family are up to or what their intentions are. And there was a really big piece as well that Samuel Luckhurst wrote that I thought was really interesting and I've not seen too many people talking about. So I thought I'd bring this into the show. So it goes as follows, guys. This is from Samuel Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News. He says, it is understood there was discord among the 6 siblings who sit on the United board when they went to market on November the 22nd. More significantly, there is still no agreement among the siblings as to what they want to do with Manchester United. A financial source has also claimed some figures connected to the Rain Group, the investment banking firm hired by the Glazers, believe they have been tasked with selling something that isn't really for sale, as the Glazers failed to reach a common ground. So ultimately, all of the bits of news that's coming out in the last kind of 24 hours or less is saying that, as it stands, Joel and Avram still want to stay, right? They still want to stay. They still haven't made up their mind, and that's what the delay is about. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? It is ridiculous. I like to try and be positive on this channel, but as I said, I don't want to talk about the takeover every single day. So instead, I'm doing this one video, 10 to 15 minute long video. I'll round up all of the different news that I've seen over the week that's credible. I'll bring it to you. We can all discuss it as a community. I'll give my opinion. I'll invite you to give your opinion, and then we can all move on from it, because otherwise it just drives us all crazy, doesn't it? Yeah. And the thing I do want you guys to remember, okay, which just to try and be a bit positive here, is when Newcastle was sold to Saudi Arabia, it took 18 months. 1-8. We've only been in this process for 8 months at this point, guys, okay? We've only been doing this for 8 months. Newcastle took 18 months. So I know it's frustrating. I know that people are getting impatient, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just keeps going on and on and on, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, so the bit that's coming out here from Manchester Evening News, as I said, is ultimately saying that the Rain Group think they've been tasked with an impossible job, because ultimately they've been asked to put something up on the market, but the people selling it don't even know if they want to sell it. That's kind of what they're saying, which isn't that unbelievable. And it goes on to say there is bewilderment in Manhattan's financial district that the United strategic review has gone on for more than 8 months. A financial source said a sale of this magnitude should usually take between 60 and 90 days. Financial insiders on Wall Street also believe the New York Stock Exchange should apply pressure on the Glazers to make a decision, as the process should not drag on with the shares traded. So obviously at the moment, the shares are still being traded on the New York Stock Exchange, which obviously is an issue, because every time we get a story coming out about Qatar buying the club, the stock price goes up. Every time that story gets, put in the bin as rubbish, the stock prices go down. So this is obviously an issue on the New York Stock Exchange, because at the moment it is causing market fluctuation, you know? As soon as we get Sheikh Jassim's going to win the club, Rio Ferdinand says on a video Sheikh Jassim's won, the stock price doubles. Or maybe not doubles, but it goes up considerably, right? The day later, a story comes out from somebody else saying, I've heard different, and it drops back down again. So yeah, ultimately, what this report is saying from Manchester Evening News is that the Wall Street believe that the New York Stock Exchange should actually put pressure on the Glazers to come to a decision, because at the moment it is almost market manipulation, you know? Whether that's directly being done by them is up for debate. It's not really, is it? It's kind of, we get these stories from a newspaper in Qatar saying that Sheikh Jassim's won, and then the stock price surges. We get a story from someone else saying that they haven't made a decision, and it drops. So it is a bit dodgy when you actually think of it in a financial perspective, because, you know, there's people putting money into this business based on stories they see. You know, they see that Sheikh Jassim's won the club, they put a load of money into it. The next day, that story gets put in the bin and it drops. So people are probably losing a lot of money gambling on the New York Stock Exchange, on Manchester United, which I know probably doesn't really mean anything to you, because if you haven't put any money in there, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, it is dodgy, definitely. Yeah, so the key bit from here over the last 24 hours is coming out from Laurie Whitwell, Samuel Luckhurst, a couple of other journalists, that at this point, Joel and Avram still want to stay. Obviously, Avram Glazer was at... was it Avram or Joel? I think it was Avram. Avram was at the game yesterday, wasn't he? Or was it Joel? I can never tell the difference between the two of them. They're all just the same to me, to be completely honest with you. I don't like any of them. Anyway, either Joel or Avram was at the game yesterday, at the Manchester United Arsenal game. Yeah, which I honestly do think that what's going on here is stock manipulation, because you get one of these stories coming out saying that Sheikh Jassim's won, and the price doubles. And there's people who will have lost money on that. There's people who have seen these stories and thought that it's true, put a load of money into Manchester United, and then the day later, Laurie Whitwell or somebody else comes out and says, you know, oh, that story's rubbish. So it was Avram who was at the stadium yesterday, and there's a video here, right? So, I mean, this is obviously just a bit of fun, but well, it's not fun. But so all of the Manchester United fans at the stadium yesterday outside were all chanting Glazers out at Avram Glazer, and you can just see him there just laughing at them. I mean, I'm literally looking at this on my screen now. It's literally sickening, isn't it? It really, really is. But anyway, so I've brought you guys the news. That's where we're at the moment. I'm not going to, you know, put us in some fairy tale land where I say everything's great, everything's amazing. I'm just bringing you the news as it is. As I said, I want to do these videos once a week so we can just kind of round off everything. And then it just means when we do our usual 1 hour shows, we're not just constantly talking about the takeover, because it does get tiresome. And I do think it's just a bit of a negative drain of energy. So I've compressed it all into one show. This is where we're at this current moment. All of the stories coming out at this moment, Laurie Whitwell, Samuel Luckhurst, Manchester Evening News, etc., are still reporting, even to this day, 8 months later, that Joel and Avram are still unsure whether they want to sell the club. They still want to retain a stake in it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? But anyway, guys, let's now give our opinions on this. I want to now invite you to get involved in this conversation. I want you to get involved in the comment section, and I will do the same. So my opinion on this, as it stands, is there's a magic number, okay? There's a magic number that Joel and Avram will sell for. Obviously, I don't know what that magic number is, neither do you, but there is a magic number, 100%. Once that magic number's hit, we believed it was 6 billion. It clearly isn't 6 billion anymore. Remember, Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe have pretty much valued the club at 6 billion, okay? They've given in to their demands. They've said, here's 6 billion, and they're still unsure about it. So there must be something more higher that they want. The thing that worries me about the Glazers is there something behind the scenes that we don't know about? Is there talk of another Super League? Is there talk of a new TV rights deal? Is there something that us as fans, we don't know? That's the thing that worries me. But overall, I still think they will leave the club. I do. I just think it will take time. I really, really do. As I said, Newcastle United's takeover took 18 months, and we've been in this process for 8 months. So if Newcastle's takeover is anything to go by, we've still got 10 more months left of this, guys. We could be sat here in a year's time, and the club might only just be sold then, okay? I do not expect the club to be sold before the end of the transfer window. I don't expect it to be sold by the beginning of the season. The one thing I do want to just say, though, this is, again, just my opinion, is that I definitely do feel that how we're operating in this transfer window doesn't feel like a typical Glazers transfer window. At first, it really, really did. It was really slow. No one was leaving the club. But in the last 24 hours, we've had Alex Telles is going, Alanga's going, Eric Bailly's also going, Dean Henderson's going, David De Gea's going, Weghorst, Sabitzer, Phil Jones, Tuanzebe. Like, we've literally got rid of 10 or more players in the last kind of 4 weeks. Absolutely ridiculous. That never happens at Manchester United. It really, really doesn't. So I do feel quite positive in that sense, and we are letting these players go for considerably less than what we paid for them, you know? Alex Telles, 6 million. I think we paid 13, 14. Eric Bailly, I think we'll get a couple of million for. So I do think it's still positive. I don't think we need to be like massively worried. At the end of the day, all of these journalists are still just putting out the same story that Joel and Avram are still unsure about whether they want to stay, okay? But the thing you have to remember here, guys, stress the word unsure, right? They want to stay, they're thinking about staying. But if the right offer comes, if somebody offers the amount of money they want, they'll leave. That's probably what they're actually thinking, you know? That's just my opinion on it. Obviously, it's very, very frustrating. It really, really is. And I just hope that by the time the season starts, we at least know where we stand. I'm not saying that Sheikh Jassim's going to own the club or Sir Jim Ratcliffe's going to own the club by then, but I at least hope by the time that the season starts, we all know where we stand, so we can just kind of stop talking about all of the speculation, and we can all stop like getting worried about it, because I know how draining it is on people's mental health, guys. It really has been draining on me. So yeah, do let me know what you think about this in the comment section, guys. How do you feel at the moment? Are you still feeling positive? Do you think that they will sell? Do you think they'll stay? Let me know what you think. As I just said, I'm literally watching a clip now on my Twitter where the Manchester United fans at the game yesterday outside the stadium are shouting, sell the club and Glazers out. And you can literally visibly see Avram Glazer just laughing at them. Obviously, he's a long way away from them, but he's just laughing. And it's just like, it's absolutely sickening. It really, really is. And it does make my blood boil to see it. If anybody goes on Twitter and does want to see it, it's literally all over Twitter. Avram Glazer having a laugh while Manchester United fans chant, sell the club and Glazers out. So I do just want to say, though, hats off to the American fans yesterday who were at the stadium and chanting Glazers out, even in America, because sometimes that only happens in like Manchester at home. But this is happening in America, in New York. It's everywhere. Everybody wants them out of the club. Absolutely sickening. It really, really is. But as it stands, guys, this is the position we're in at the moment. The Glazers are still unsure. There's 6 people who own this club, right? 6 of them have got to make a decision. Imagine how difficult that will be. The thing that just makes me think that they will go, though, is why would they have started getting bids in the first place, okay? The only reason they would have got bids in the first place is because they thought that they would have got this magic number that they have in their head. Whether that's 6, that's what we were originally told. Now it looks like it could be closer to 7, I think. At the end of the day, they're greedy. They want to get as much money as they possibly can. They're trying to, you know, turn the spotlight away from them by bringing in players like Mason Mount, Onana, Rasmus Højlund. You know, there is a lot of positivity around Manchester United at the moment on the pitch. Erik ten Hag is doing an incredible job. Obviously, we played well against Arsenal yesterday. There is a lot of positivity around Manchester United at the moment. And imagine if we had lost the game yesterday and lost all our other pre-season matches and we didn't get Mason Mount. It would be so negative. So they are trying to cover up, I think, what's actually going on, you know? But it's not going to work. As I've said to you on many, many videos before, even if they signed Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Haaland, all of these players in the same window, everybody's still going to want them out of their club, because it's not as black and white as we want to buy players. That's not why we want the Glazers out of our club. We want them out of our club because they've literally destroyed the club that we all here love. You know, over the last 18 years, they've taken out billions. They've let the stadium rot. You know, the list goes on of what they've done to this beautiful football club. So at the end of the day, guys, at the moment, everybody's still waiting. Joel and Avram clearly don't seem to know. But in the bottom of my heart, I do think they'll go eventually. I just think that we'll have to have a bigger bid than what's currently being tabled. I don't think they'll go for the 6 billion that's being reported anymore, personally. As I've said to you guys before, they wanted 6 billion 8 months ago, okay? They wanted 6 billion 8 months ago. And since then, flashback 8 months ago, right? That was about November. I think in November, you'd have probably said, we're not going to get top 4 and we're probably not going to win a trophy, right? Flash forward 8 months. We've won a trophy. We came in top 4. We came 3rd. And we got to an FA Cup final. Okay? If you'd have told me that in November, I would have said you're having a laugh. There is absolutely no way at the end of the season we would finish 3rd, win a trophy, and get to an FA Cup final. So what my point here is, everything has kind of changed since when they actually put the club up for sale. All right? We were in a very, very, maybe not the most negative moment, not like an Ollie Ragnick kind of moment, but I never thought in November we would get top 4. I never thought we would get a win a trophy, to be completely honest with you, that season. So if you flash back to the point of where we were 8 months ago versus where we are now, you know, there's a lot of positivity around the club. Ten Hag is doing an incredible job. He's just won a trophy. Obviously, the performances on the pitch get better and better. You know, he's bringing in good people, etc., etc. There is a lot of positivity around Manchester United at the moment. And my point here is, they wanted 6 billion when there was negativity around the club, when we didn't think we were going to get top 4, when we didn't think we were going to win a trophy, right? 8 months later, Manchester United's stock price has gone up, in my opinion, right? If they were worth 6 billion then, I think this is just based on the Glazers' logic, okay? I think if the Glazers thought we were worth 6 billion back in November 2022, I think we're worth 7 or 8 now. I genuinely do. I genuinely think the Glazers are looking at this situation and thinking, right, we wanted 6 billion when we probably weren't going to get top 4 and we weren't going to win a trophy. Now, we've just got 3rd. We've won a trophy. We've got to a final. There's so much positivity around the team, you know. We're selling out matches in like minutes and seconds, etc., etc. We want 7. We want 8. And that's the question I want you guys to ask. This is the question I want you to ask. And somebody's saying in the chat, you never had confidence in Ten Hag. I've always had confidence in Ten Hag since the very beginning. And I will always have confidence in Ten Hag because I think he is the right man for the job. But what I'm saying to you, my point that I just gave across then was looking at it from the Glazers' perspective. I didn't think we would get top 4 last season. I didn't. If anybody in the chat genuinely thought we'd get top 4 that last season, then fair enough. I didn't think we'd win the trophy last season. Genuinely, I didn't, okay? So that's what my point here is, guys. Whereas you flash forward 8 months to where we are now, there's people in the chat who probably think we're going to win the Premier League next season. We did a poll earlier on the community section of the chat, right, guys? We did a poll earlier. It had over 500 votes, and 40% of the people who voted thought we were going to win the Premier League this season, right? Flash back a year, how many of you would have said we're going to win the Premier League in our first year with Ten Hag? Probably 0. Whereas this year, literally half the people who voted in this poll this morning thought we're going to win the Premier League this season. So my point here is, if the Glazers wanted 6 8 months ago, I think the figure's gone up. I do. I don't think 6 is acceptable for them anymore. And that's where the hesitation is, you know? Joel and Avram are looking at this situation and they're thinking, if we stay, if we hang on for another 5 years, the club's going to be worth 10, the club's going to be worth 12. They've got this figure in their head. They're deluded at the end of the day. They are, because in my opinion, if the Glazers stay, Manchester United's just going to crash even further down. Ten Hag can only work so many miracles. He did an incredible job last season. He picked us up out of the dirt, ultimately, from our worst Premier League season that I can ever remember under Ragnick and Ollie. He picked us up out of the dirt. He got us 3rd in the Premier League. He won a trophy. He got us to a final. He did an absolutely incredible job. So, in my opinion, they're deluded, and if they stay, the club's just going to keep rotting and rotting, and then in 5 or 6 years' time, it will not be worth whatever price they have in their heads. They don't understand football, they don't understand what Manchester United fans want, and they need to leave the club. That's just the black and white of it, guys. But as always, I do look forward to seeing your comments in the comment section, so do get involved. Do let me know how you're feeling about the current position we're in at the moment. Are you stressed? Are you worried? Are you kind of just feeling okay about it but not really thinking about it? Do let me know, because I always do like to see. As I said, I'm going to try and do one of these videos every single week, because I think once a week is better than me talking about it every single day on the kind of morning and evening streams, because I think it just gets a bit tiresome, to be completely honest with you. So I've brought you all of the latest news that's available out there at the moment from legitimate sources, and ultimately all that people are saying is that Joel and Avram are still unsure, but it does look more likely that they'll either sell to Sheikh Jassim or they'll stay. Those are the kind of 2 options that are being thrown around in the media at the moment. Sir Jim looks effectively out of the race. Either the Glazers will stay or they'll sell to Sheikh Jassim. Those are the 2 options. Those are what I think will be the most likely option, to be completely honest with you. I do still think they will sell. I just think it's going to take a long time, guys. I don't think within a week or 2 weeks we're going to have any news. I would not be surprised if we're sat here in 6 months still having the same conversations, you know? But the thing there is, even though that sounds negative, it is actually quite positive in some ways, because if we're still sat here in 6 months having these conversations, that means that the Glazers won't have shut the door on it. They could easily come out tomorrow and say we're staying, and then you stop talking about it, don't you? If we're still talking about it in 6 months, that means that they're still interested in whatever's, available out there. And I do just think they want more money than what's currently being offered at this current point. Yeah, they need to go 100%. As soon as we kick off the Premier League season, the protests are going to get worse and worse and worse. Games will start being cancelled. That will then start affecting the team. Points will get deducted. Erik ten Hag might even think, I don't want to be here. This isn't a good place for me to be. It's going to ruin my kind of career. It's going to ruin my whatever. And it will just go down and down and down and down until I feel like they would have to go. Games will start being cancelled. Obviously, the home team, the home fans will be protesting. People will be outside the stadium. It's going to get nasty. It really, really will. So they need to sell, and I do think they will sell. But at the moment, guys, we are all in the same boat. We're all sat here. We are all waiting. And obviously we will keep you updated, but I'm just going to try and do it more on a weekly basis. So I hope you guys appreciate that, because I do just think talking about it every single day is just, it's not good for anybody's mental health, and constantly being like, the Glazers are staying, and then the next morning doing a video like, the Glazers are selling. I just think it's not very, I just don't think it's very responsible, to be completely honest with you. I'd rather do this where we have an overview once a week, we all talk about it, we all have a chance to get our opinions in, then every time there's one tiny little story that's like coming from some random journalist you've never heard of, you put up a headline saying the Glazers will stay, as if it's like 100% confirmed. Nobody knows that. Not even the Glazers know. Sheikh Jassim doesn't know, okay? So that's what I just want you guys to remember. There's so much noise out there about this takeover. You've got to take it all in yourself, digest it, and work out what you think is the most, you know, what you think is going to happen, because no journalist, nobody can actually tell you what's going to happen. You know, all I've tried to do today, guys, is just bring you the information that's out there. We've all had a chance to discuss it, and I've obviously invited you to get involved in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling about it. I do think they'll sell, but I just don't think it's going to be an immediate thing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. It was just a quick one to do a kind of an overview of the current situation where we are at the moment. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video when you're leaving, and please do subscribe to the channel. We are live every single day at 8 AM and 6 PM UK time, and we do go live in the day as well like this. So do make sure you subscribe, and do make sure you hit the notification bell. Hope everyone has a nice Sunday wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you guys later on today. Lots of love. Peace out.